Some guy, I think his name is Skylar something? No, I'm just kidding. Skylar V. Smith, the baddest ass motherfucker. I'm Esther Mira, and this is my LA Year One. Woo! Okay, so my first year in LA, I had just come back from doing a master's program in London, of all places. And I had chosen LA because I actually had done my undergraduate in LA a couple years prior. And I was like, you know what, I'm kind of sick of the rain and the overcast skies. I need some sun. There's this really cool thing called Spotlight UK where you got to do a showcase with a bunch of other really great schools in the UK. So I thought that I was gonna do this showcase and meet a bunch of really awesome agents and managers, get representation, and everything would be golden. Yeah, not so much the way that it worked. I did meet a lot of really cool people, but when it came to the showcase itself, it was a little less than great, a little less than what I had planned. We had an agent, I think a manager, and someone in casting watch our scenes or our monologues and look at our headshots that we had put together kind of last minute, and they hated mine. They hated absolutely everything I did. So that was strike one for me. Then we actually performed our stuff, and I think I got 1 or 2 bites. I think I had one manager and one agent kind of interested in me, but nothing really came of it. So I left rather forlorn, not really knowing what to do. And I had actually come to LA with my boyfriend at the time, who I had done my master's program with. He was also American, but I kind of had dragged him out to LA, so that was kind of strike 3. So I ended up living on the west side, which, as those of us who live in LA know, isn't necessarily the best place to live if you're trying to get auditions. Ended up working at a really cute little jewelry store for this amazing, talented, wonderful woman who is an actress as well. And I loved it, and I was very fortunate because I was actually able to walk to work from where I lived. So my boyfriend at the time and I could share a car, which was cool, but it kind of took away from me being able to audition that much. And because I didn't have representation, I didn't really know what to do. I mean, I'd heard about, joining Actors Access, LA Casting, Backstage, all of those sites, but I was a little bit lost otherwise. So basically, I moved to LA in September. So from September to December, I felt rather lost. When January rolled around and this whole idea of pilot season happened, I got a little bit more excited, and I got very lucky and landed this really cool web series with some really talented, hilarious people. And through them, I ended up getting my first actual manager. And through my manager, I got my first agent, and that's when my career started to take off. And it was pretty cool from there. But honestly, as much as it was great having, an agent and a manager, because of the way that I am, the way that I look, roles were pretty far and few between. So it wasn't like I was getting tons of auditions every week. I was definitely going out for very typecasted roles, if you will, very specific roles. And that was very different from coming from a theater background in London, where pretty much we were playing all different types of roles. And we weren't really getting typecast as much. So that too, for me, very much was kind of an eye-opening experience. Also, all the driving, oh my gosh. Public transportation in London is amazing. And as many people know in LA, it's not the same. So driving from the west side, basically having to get anywhere, Hollywood, downtown LA, Burbank, Glendale, pretty much where all the studios are, or where a lot of auditions are, took a lot of time and energy. So I had to get used to that as well. So basically my idea of what LA was going to be like definitely wasn't that, but at the same time, I did meet really cool people, that I still am friends with today, that I still collaborate with today. And I think I had kind of a really eye-opening experience, but also a realistic experience of what LA actually is like. You know, I thought I could just show up to LA, do this showcase, get amazing representation, and boom, become a series regular on a show, which I don't think happens to most people, no matter what type of training or where you're coming from. I never felt that I should pack up my bags and go, because I'm a very driven person. I can be a very stubborn person, and my family lives on the East Coast. They lived in Boston at the time. They now live in Philly, and so pretty much I've always wanted to be an actor my entire life. So for me, it was like I can't give up this soon. I just moved to LA. I had a really good job at the time, working for this amazing jewelry designer who also, I forgot to mention, would give me really sage and sound advice, because she was an actress who'd been acting for quite some time and was pretty successful. So she kind of became a mentor to me. And I was not about to give up right when I got to LA, having just recently graduated from my master's program where I was doing theater. I feel like that a lot more would have had to happen to me to make me feel like I needed to leave. I also feel like when the times get tough, I have this mantra I say, this too shall pass, and that means a lot to me. And I often think of that, especially when things have been really difficult for me. I've had to deal with some pretty serious health stuff more recently, and I always just think about overall how lucky I am, how fortunate I am that I get to be in an industry and in a career that I really, really love, and that no matter what happens, this too shall pass, and I have a lot of support from my friends and my family, and then I just need to keep on trucking and keep on going. We like to think of ourselves as being able to do anything, especially for me as an actor, and when my physical health has gotten in the way to the point where I have to be in the hospital, or I can't do something, or I've actually never had to pull out entirely of a project, but there have been occasions where I've had to have, say, like, there was a theater project where I got sick and an understudy had to take over for me, and I feel like I'm letting people down. I also never want to be seen as somebody who is sick, so people don't want to hire me. I also sometimes feel like I push myself too hard, where I'll push through and do something when probably it would be more healthy for me to focus on my physical health. So that's something that I'm slowly learning. We need to take care of our bodies and our minds, because if we're not doing that, then how are we supposed to be able to do what we love? Because if our bodies aren't healthy, then our minds aren't going to be healthy, and then how are we supposed to be able to focus on our careers, on what we love, or anything like that? Where I'm at today, I'm really excited about, because I'm still acting and I'm also producing. I actually started a production company with two very close friends back in October of 2017. So two of my co-founders, called Team Revolution Films, and just made it an LLC, and it's my baby. I love it so much, and we just completed our 5th or 6th short film, and we're now going into pre-production for our first feature narrative, which is really exciting. Producing has been so incredible for me and such a learning experience, and it's very, very different from acting, and I really enjoy it. I find that being behind the camera and behind the scenes, there's just this whole world that opens up to me and is different, and I really, really like it. I'm looking forward to kind of collaborating with more people. I've kind of amassed already a really, really strong team of individuals, but I'd like to collaborate with other producers. I'd love to tell other people's stories. Right now, we've really been working within our own team, with our own writers. I'd love to collaborate possibly with other production companies and just expand. So yeah, so I'm producing and acting, and I actually, on the last project that I just completed, I co-wrote with my writing partner, so that was my first writing credit, which was pretty cool, and also directed. So my directorial debut. I have rather experienced directing theater, but never had directed film before, so that was kind of fun to dip my toes into that. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride since year one for me in LA, and I've definitely had my ups and downs, but I feel that that's a part of life. There's always an ebb and flow, and overall, I could not be happier that I'm still here, and I can't wait to see what the next year and the next 10 years brings for me.
All right, great. That was perfect.
I don't know.